What's up, everybody? Ron Placone here, reporting for Status Coup. So, you know that digital rights are near and dear to my heart, and in particular, net neutrality. And over the past couple years, literally since Biden has been president, there has been a historic effort of inaction in fully staffing the FCC. What does that mean? Well, that means since Biden's presidency, for 2 years and counting now, there has been a 2-2 gridlock at the FCC. There has been two pro net neutrality FCC commissioners, two anti net neutrality FCC commissioners. And most of the time, when you're pro net neutrality or anti net neutrality, you're usually on the other side of the fence on other issues too. So basically, the FCC has just been in a gridlock for the past couple years. Seems like a pretty easy gig. Hey, do we still agree and disagree just enough that we can't do anything? Yeah. Okay, cool. I'm going to take a nap. But Gigi Sohn was Biden's FCC appointee. She has done the work in the past. She was a huge instrumental force behind getting Tom Wheeler to finally get behind net neutrality because the people demanded it. She is overqualified. She has over 30 years of experience in this space. Biden nominated her because he promised a pro net neutrality FCC appointee. Keep in mind, Biden himself does not have a great track record on net neutrality. He's never really spoken favorably of it. He started his campaign with a bunch of Comcast executives, but he did appoint Gigi Sohn because he promised that he would in the Bernie Biden task force, if you guys remember when that happened. So, but they've stalled on approving her because in the Senate, you have Chuck Schumer, who has a million conflicts of interest with big tech. Joe Manchin said he's not going to vote for her. Joe Biden is pretty indifferent, as I mentioned. And you also have a big right-wing smear campaign against Gigi Sohn, which we're going to get into in a little bit here. Now, at the end of 22, where we stood was if Gigi Sohn did not get appointed, if they did not finish, her nomination expired, and then she basically wasn't nominated anymore. Well, here's a little bit of good news that will hopefully turn into better news. Gigi Sohn has been renominated by Joe Biden. Let's go to the Ars Technica piece. Biden tries to end 2 years of deadlock at FCC by renominating Gigi Sohn. I think that's actually given Biden a little bit of too much credit, but yeah. Anyway, President Joe Biden yesterday renominated Gigi Sohn to the long empty fifth spot on the FCC commission in hopes that the Senate will finally give Democrats a 3-2 FCC majority. In other words, a pro net neutrality majority. The FCC has been deadlocked with 2 Democrats and 2 Republicans for Biden's entire presidency so far. He first nominated Sohn, a longtime consumer advocate and former FCC official, on October 26, 2021. To give you guys a bit of a point of reference here, all of Trump's picks were confirmed within several weeks. This is a historic, inept level of just inaction. And they make it out like this is just totally Republican v. Democrat. It's more pro net neutrality, anti net neutrality, because there's some Democrats out there who are also anti net neutrality. And by the way, one of the things stalling Gigi Sohn is Joe Manchin. So anyway, just to clarify that for you. I want to jump to here. So Senator Ted Cruz, great guy, and other Republicans claim Sohn would use a post at the FCC to censor conservatives. Despite executives at conservative news networks, Newsmax and One America News Network supporting Sohn's nomination and praising her longtime commitment to free speech. Okay, let me break this down for you. It's some of you who have followed my coverage on this issue on Status Coup, and of course, those of you who follow Get Your News On with Ron, you have heard all of this many times before, but I have been covering net neutrality and explaining what net neutrality actually is. And as long as I've been making content on the internet, like literally for years now, pretty much for a decade. And we keep saying the same things over and over again. Okay, so look, an FCC commissioner spot is not some kind of license to censor the internet. Okay, net neutrality has nothing to do with censoring particular content. Net neutrality has to do with the flow of information and websites on the internet. It means that the internet has to flow like flowing water, like water to your pipes, or like when you make a phone call. If I make a phone call to Colin on the ones and twos, or I make a phone call to the White House, it's treated the same. It's just treated like a phone call. One phone call doesn't go faster than the other. Water through pipes doesn't go faster one way or the other. That's what net neutrality is. It means that the internet has to be treated like a utility in our lives. So you can't have designated fast lanes and slow lanes for people. You can't have certain content load faster than others based on one's ability to pay. In other words, some big corporate entity like Fox News or CNN or MSNBC, all anti-net neutrality advocates, by the way, they can't pay to have their stuff load fast and then everything on YouTube or independent media loads slow. That's what net neutrality is. It has nothing to do with specific content itself. It has to do with the providers and what ISPs can and can't do. ISPs being internet service providers, what they can and can't do as far as the content loaded getting into your eyeballs. That's what net neutrality is. It has to do with your access to the internet, not particularly what's on the internet. Do you understand the difference? So what Ted Cruz is saying makes absolutely no sense. And by the way, this article points out how OAN and Newsmax like Gigi Sohn. Why do you think that is? If she has this vendetta against conservatives, why do they like her? Well, because they're not corporate entities, at least not corporate entities in the same way that a Fox News is. They're not a cable news corporate entity. They are largely on the internet. So they know that they need net neutrality. If you're an internet-based source, whether you're on the right, left, or anything in between, and especially when you're independent, or at least independent compared to Fox News, you rely on a free and open internet. That's how it works. So that's why these networks like her, and Fox News, CNN, MSNBC doesn't like her. MSNBC is owned by Comcast, an anti-net neutrality company. That's why you see Rachel Maddow go on TV and pretend like she doesn't understand net neutrality. I just explained it. She pretends like she doesn't understand it. She's a Rhodes Scholar. She pretends like she's like, I don't get this. What does this mean? Does this mean you get to censor the internet? No, it means content needs to load equally. It means no one can censor. And CNN is owned by Time Warner, so you don't see them cover net neutrality at all. And Fox News, of course, is Rupert Murdoch's wet dream, so they're anti-net neutrality as well. So finally, we're getting a little bit of good news. I actually thought he wasn't going to re-up Gigi Sohn's nomination. I thought he was going to just nominate somebody else, and hopefully they were a pro-net neutrality appointee, though who knows at this point. So hopefully this means she is going to be confirmed very, very soon. Now, some Republicans aren't supporting her. Some Democrats, Joe Manchin saying he's going to be a holdout. And we all know, Chuck Schumer's big conflict of interest when it comes to big tech in general. But it looks like she's going to have the support to pass. You can loan your voice here, battleforthenet.com, demand action immediately. Again, that's battleforthenet.com. They re-up Gigi's nomination. We got to get her on the FCC so we have a pro-net neutrality FCC. And folks, I'm going to be on the road in 2023. You can check me out this coming Saturday, pretty much like in 2 days, or tomorrow, depending on when you're seeing this, or today. Maybe you're seeing it Saturday. San Diego, come on out. I got a free show January 7th in San Diego. Free show. You can't afford not to. RonPlacone.com for information. January 28th, use the promo code Lucy at checkout. That early bird discount goes away very soon. So Tucson, January 28th, get your tickets now. Use the promo code Lucy at checkout for the early bird discount. It's going away very soon. But January 28th, Tucson, I'll see you there for a stand-up show and a screening of my short film Loner. And I'll be in LA February 10th, April 14th, and May 12th, working on my 2023 hour. And I'll have more tour dates very, very soon. You can find all information at ronplacone.com. And this is Ron Placone for Status Coup, signing out.